In the bowl, we got 500 grams of bread flour. Yeah. And then to 325 mils of water, you need to add 3 grams of yeast.
Oh, I can't get yeast.
All right. So 3 grams of yeast is a level teaspoon. That's all it is. It's nice and simple. And you just need to mix it in the water like this.
How much water?
325 millilitres or 325 grams, however you're doing your.
Gavin messages this on active staff afterwards.
So a full recipe, because it's not my recipe, will be on active staff. Okay. You need to just pour it into the bowl like that. And mix it with a fork until all the moisture has generally gone. Like that. And then add 10 grams of salt. So you don't add the salt before, because if you add the salt before, it will kill the yeast. All right? And once you've got it into a bit of a ball, you tip it out onto your side. Now, by the way, I don't actually do this. I use a mixer like a normal human.
I get my staff to do this.
If you haven't got a mixer, then you need to fold it, and then with the base of the palm of your hand, you need to push it forward and stretch it. Okay, so you roll it over, forward and stretch it, over, forward and stretch it. And it should become more and more elastic. So you roll it over, so you essentially fold and then push to stretch the gluten out. On the flour, you don't necessarily need, so you need bread flour with a protein level of 13 or 14%. Don't go and buy T0 grade flour if it's got a low protein level. So you just keep kneading it and kneading it and kneading it and kneading it. And I'm not going to do that because it's going to take, it's like 15 minutes of kneading, and it will become into a stretchy elastic ball, and it'll be smooth and it won't be as sticky. Okay? The bowl and flour the bowl. If you're doing it in a mixer, you want it's about 9 minutes in with your dough hook. Okay? And then you leave it for 2 hours, and it should have doubled in size and look like that.
Where did you leave that, Gavin?
I just on the kitchen side.
Okay.
So you just need to take it out and flour your surface a bit.
With bread flour?
Yeah, with the same flour you used.
Okay.
How fresh is your yeast?
Mine's dried, instant dried yeast. It's not fresh at all. As in, is it in date on the packet? Yes, yeah. It is. But that doesn't make it matter. So then, get rid of all the air out of the dough and just roll it a little bit together. So it should look like that. Okay? And you split the dough into 4 pieces. And then you do what's called balling. Okay? So you essentially get all the dough and push it back into the middle like that. Okay? And what happens is, as you do that and you push it round like this, you should find that you've got a ball that's smooth on the top, unlike that one. Smooth, not smooth. And on the underside, it should be all gathered together. That's how it should look. Does that make sense? So depending what size pizza you want is depending how big your ball is. So this ball will make between a 12 and a 9-inch pizza. Okay?
Is that a cricket-sized ball?
Yeah, yeah, cricket-sized ball is good, and you can keep. And the kids can do this. You can't really, at this point, you can't really break the dough. So if the kids muck about with it, as long as they don't put too much flour in it, they can do that again and again and again, and it won't cause any issues again. So you just fold it in the back here like this. And then you roll it and you see it's getting smooth and tighter and smooth and tighter. And if you've got any air bubbles like that, you just pinch them out because you don't really want any air in this stage. So I'll just do that for the last 2. So I've got a job done. And I just roll it. So I put one hand there and the other hand there. I roll it forwards, which will then balls it for me. Okay. And again, any hole,
Done
any
this before, haven't you?
once or twice, yeah. And then do that again. So again, you see it's all lovely and tight and smooth at the top, like that. Okay. So then you put that back into an oiled dish, which I use like a lasagna dish, like that. And you leave that.
Oh, blimey, got loads of
Options.
pieces going.
At this point, you can put it in the freezer. So you can now freeze the dough at this point. Or, so this has been in the fridge and it's come up overnight, but you also can leave it on the side. So you can leave it on the side for an hour and a half, or you can put it in the fridge and you take it out an hour before you want to make pizza. So if you are doing it the night before, you can make all the dough the night before, not worry about it in the day, and just take it out the hour before you're going to cook your pizza. All right? Let me just get a... Does that make sense? It's doubled, well, tripled in size.
Can you overprove it at this stage?
Pardon?
Can you overprove it?
You can slightly, but that's why your best bet is to put it in the fridge. So if you're unsure when you're going to use it, put it in the fridge, and then you use it again. And this pan has been oiled, by the way. Just to try and help it. But you need to be delicate with it because you need to try and keep all the air in it. So that's your pizza. Don't worry if it's not round at this moment in time. So to get your crust, what you need to do is keep the air outside edge, get rid of the air everywhere else. So you need to use the finger like that. Can't see that. So you put on like that, and you just push that round your edge like that. Okay, just a bit of flour on your hands if you need it. Okay. And then, so you can push it all the way around like this, all the way around, and don't worry about the shape, just the edge, and then get rid of all the air in the middle. And then there's two options for your dough now. One option is to hand stretch, so you can use two hands and you stretch it apart like that, keeping your not touching the crust. And the other option, I'm just going to tilt my camera up, is that you stretch it. So this dough is so light that it will stretch just by holding it.
Wow.
If you can see, it should be a little bit like stained glass. You should nearly be able to see through it. And because of the elasticity we built in the dough, it doesn't need, it shouldn't tear, so there's no holes in it.
Wow.
So that is then your dough done. So you want a flour, you can do, you know those funny flat trays that you cook chips and stuff on? If you haven't got a pizza paddle, use one of those, right? And you see it moves? Because otherwise, when you try and put it in, now this dough's so fine that you cannot put the toppings on before you do this. You have to put it on the paddle, otherwise you'll never get it on the paddle. And then your toppings can be anything. So I use this. So this is passata, but it's rustic, so it's not sieved. So you put your tomato sauce on. Now with toppings, less is more. Right? So as the boys are having this for lunch, and they only like cheese and ham, so that's what they're getting. And I'll tell you about it. So ham and cheese. Now this is just cheddar, and I'll explain some things about mozzarella and stuff in a minute. And your oven needs to be as hot as your oven will go. And I'm going to go and put this in the oven quickly, and hopefully by the end it will be cooked. Right. Okay. Right. So give me 1 minute. Back 1 sec. My domestic oven, because that's what you guys would have. So
what do you put it on in your oven?
So I've put it on. You know the big tray that comes with an oven? So like a big flat tray is in my oven. My oven is as hot as it will go, which is 250 degrees C. And it should be about 6 minutes. So my actual pizza oven is at 400 degrees C. And it cooks in about a minute. So it should cook and rise you need to, when you put your oven on, you need to, once it says it's up to temperature, you need to put the tray in that you're going to cook on, or your pizza stone if you've got one, and leave it for at least 15 minutes. Because the thermometer on your oven tells you what the air temperature is of the oven, not what the temperature of the actual body of the oven is. So what happens is, then when you put something cold in it, like your pizza dough, your temperature drops dramatically, whereas if you leave it for 15 minutes, it will heat up all the metalwork of your oven and make it work a little bit better. Other thing on your toppings is, you need to pre-cook your toppings. So if you don't pre-cook your toppings, you will give yourself food poisoning, because these pizzas cook so quickly that you will, like you put raw chicken or raw sausages on it and they won't cook, and you'll give yourself food poisoning. And on your, you need to be really careful of wet ingredients. So like mushrooms and stuff, they need to be cooked and dried. So you need to just, like, once you cook them, you need to put them on kitchen roll before you put on the pizza, otherwise you make your pizza all soggy. And if you're using mozzarella, you need to slice your mozzarella and then lay it on kitchen roll and let it absorb for an hour before you put it on your pizza. Otherwise you'll have puddles of water on your pizza. So you can buy low moisture mozzarella, which will fix that problem. But other than that, all toppings are fair game as long as you don't put tons of them on. So you need to be careful about the amount of toppings you're putting on to do it. Yeah, and if you've frozen your dough, then you need to leave it out for about 6 hours, and it will then rise ready for that last stage. So if you put it in the fridge or freeze it, it will then come out in that last stage for you straight away. Gluten-free pizzas. So you need to put more water. But this, a minute, just especially for you, Abby.
Thanks.
This, oh, I'm going to, this is the flour you want to buy.
All right, yeah. I got some of that. Yeah.
And it won't be much more crumbly, so you'll have to roll it. So you do exactly the same process in every process. However, when you roll it out, you'll probably have to use a rolling pin, because the flours don't have the gluten in them, so obviously does ham and tomato pizza.
Looks lovely.
Yummy.
If you break it, you see it's got a good crust.
And the crust is fully cooked.
Crust is fully cooked.
Nice.
It should be bready.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't smell of yeast because there's not enough in it. Then underneath, done.
Oh my God.
Gavin, have you